James Lipton as himself. John Candy as Louie Anderson, sitting in a studio. Lipton.
Hello, I'm James Lipton. Because Mr. Will Ferrell is still alive, unfortunately, you're going to have to make do with me, the actual James Lipton. Today on Inside the Dead Actor Studio, we have the newly deceased Louie Anderson. Louie, welcome.
Applause. Candy.
Thanks for having me come on your show. I was ready to come as soon as I died.
Lipton.
Yes. Now let's jump right into it. Emmy Award for Outstanding Sound Editing, Special Class. Emmy Award for Outstanding Sound Mixing, Special Class. Safe to say, Fox Kids was never the same.
Candy.
Well, come to think of it, I also won an Emmy for Outstanding Performance in an Animated Program.
Lipton.
Ah, yes, thank you.
Candy.
You're welcome.
Lipton.
Take us back to the vast reaches of your consciousness, where your creativity lies, to be woken and aroused by your motivation to change this world, particularly in Eastern Europe, where it was a cultural mainstay, especially in Romania. I talk, of course, of Life with Louie.
Candy.
Yeah, well, basically how I came up with the idea is that I'm fat. I was fat as a kid, so I made the cartoon kid fat. And my dad was a funny, mean, drunk asshole, so I made my cartoon dad a funny, mean, drunk asshole, and yeah, the whole thing just happened to come together.
Lipton.
The Louie Show.
Candy.
Come again?
Lipton.
1996. CBS. 6 episodes. Some of the most enriching 3 hours of comedy that I've had the chance to peruse in my afterlife.
Candy.
Oh yeah. It's coming back to me now. But even I barely remember it.
Lipton.
Barely remember. Louie Anderson is Dr. Louie Lundgren. Bryan Cranston is Detective Kurt Sinek. Paul Feig, Kate Hodge, Laura Innes, Nancy Becker Kennedy, and Kimmy Robertson as Kimmy. Roof repairs, toupees, lottery tickets, morphine.
Candy.
Oh, come on.
Lipton.
Mr. Anderson, oh, come now.
Candy.
Oh, come on.
Lipton.
No, oh, come now. Oh, come now. Please tell us, how did the magic happen?
Candy.
Oh, come on. Magic. You're too kind. Well, basically, I'm fat. I'm from Minnesota, and everyone always told me I needed therapy. So I had my character be a fat guy from Minnesota who was a therapist.
Lipton.
Marvelous. Touched by the hand of God.
Candy.
It makes me uncomfortable when God gets touchy like that.
Lipton.
Moving on. You were able to channel your father's abusiveness on you and the rest of your victimized family into a marvelous, magical performance that had never quite been seen before from a game show host. I, of course, talking about your cosmos-shifting role as the host of Family Feud.
Candy.
Yeah, come to think of it, I asked the former host, Richard Dawson, to come on my first show to publicly give his blessing, but he refused.
Lipton.
And why was that?
Candy.
Well, I've come to the conclusion that I didn't have his blessing.
Lipton.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from Tom's phone, we're not alive. It's Saturday Night Live, starring an ever-evolving cast that is unionized and refuses to allow their names to be mentioned until their demands are met. Musical guest, Meatloaf, and your host, Louie Anderson. Ladies and gentlemen, Louie Anderson.
Applause, applause, applause. Anderson.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, I'm going to try to go quick. I am in between meals after all. Well, for those of you who've been following this program, you may recall that Mr. Murphy had me on the cast before I'd actually died. Wayne Knight must be getting pretty nervous, huh? Mr. Murphy isn't sure what the significance of my death is. He doesn't know if it means he's a prophet, if it's just a Mandela effect, or I was fat as hell and it was always just a matter of time. But I'm happy to announce that after my hosting duties are done, I'll be joining the cast. Anyway, I've heard that some around here are sick of the comedians fawning over Mr. Carson. But I've had to say that getting my shot on his show in 1984 changed my life. I owe him a debt of gratitude. If Johnny could come out. Johnny Carson comes out, applause, applause, applause. Just as Johnny is about to talk, Charles Grodin comes out and steps in front of Johnny, facing Louie. Grodin. Now wait just a minute. I was promised a hosting gig today. Carson. Well, sir, Mr. Anderson just died today, and Grodin, turning back to Carson. I don't care who died today, I'm Charles Grodin. Now, I got a memoir to plug and to tell everyone that the last movie I was in, I had the most fun making it I'd had since Heaven Can Wait. Anderson. I respect you, Mr. Grodin, but Carson, by the way, that memoirs of yours was way too expensive, and now you want to plug the paperback? Grodin. Do you care about anything? Anything at all? The human condition? Anderson. Guys, kind of my big moment here. Carson. Not now, kid. I care about the human condition. What is it that you care about? Grodin. I asked you first. Carson. I'm doing my job and I go home to Malibu. What are you doing? Grodin. I'm doing my job. Okay, the last project I worked on, I had the most fun making it that I have had since Heaven Can Wait. Did I say that? You got to say it twice. Anderson. Okay, guys, thanks, I guess. Anyway, I'm super excited because I was told that we will be having Meatloaf tonight. Oh, well, I'm being told it's the musician Meatloaf we'll be having, which I don't mind. You don't get this fat without delving into cannibalism from time to time. Plus, what's the harm? He's dead anyway. Rest in peace. We'll be right back.